Hey, what's up? It's your boy DB Cooper, aka the Mastermind, aka the one that got away. Nobody can catch me. I'm out here with my boy White Chocolate, aka Hershey Bars, and we're here to give you another great episode of Two Dudes in a Room.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Please don't call me White Chocolate or Hershey Bars. I'd really love it if you didn't use that terminology. You can call me Nathan. Nathan's cool. Hershey's cool even, you know?
Yeah, but I just thought I should give you some swagger, you know, some je ne sais quoi. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Is that why you went with the White Chocolate?
Well, yeah, that's cool.
No, that's cool.
It's like a cool nickname that you got from somebody, and then
it's like my last name's Hershey. Like it makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna ask you.
Hershey Bars. You also rap, so you have bars. You know what I'm saying?
No, I look. I get it. Really,
you got to let the people know. See, that's your problem. Is that you have to exude confidence, and like having a name like Hershey Bars, like that dude's got to be nice.
Well,
on the
I just
mic.
want to know why the chocolate's white.
Because you're white. And your last name is Hershey, which is a very popular chocolate brand. So White Chocolate, it makes, you know what?
Look, just get to the questions. Just get to the questions.
It's less funny. It's less funny when you have to explain.
Just get to the questions, man.
I'm glad that all of you are here with us.
Oh yeah.
And I'm glad that we're doing another episode. So for today's question of the day, I actually was looking through the questions and I saw this one. And I was like, wow, this is kind of like deep. This is a lot of
got a deep one, huh?
Like a lot of juice. So the question of the day is, what do you view as your biggest shortcoming as a person?
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely a deep one.
Pause.
Oh my God. You know, every time I say something, there's like this, it's like a game, you know, there's like a 1% chance that everything I say could be taken as an innuendo. And I didn't used to think this way, you know, but after hanging around you, it's turned me into this fucking monster where that's your biggest shortcoming as a person. Innuendos.
That's not the question. It's what do you view your...
Yeah. Well, what, you want me to go first? I mean...
Yeah, sure, you can go first.
All right, well, honestly, I think my biggest shortcoming as a person is the same thing as my biggest strength, which is that I care too much. Right. So that's my answer. I care too much, which can be really good for me. You know, if there's something I care about, I'll get a lot done on it. You know, or like people would describe me as someone who like. I care about small things. I have a lot of passion out of nowhere for things, and like that's part of who I am. But at the same time, I definitely think that like there are times where instead of doing what I think is the answer, or like doing what I want to do because I care too much about people or someone I'm talking to, I'll start thinking, well, what if this happens? What if this happens? And I won't do it, you know, instead of just doing it. Yeah. So that's what I'd say is mine, man. I think that's really the root of like. What's like
a situation to where you found yourself like caring too much about something?
Well, it happens all the time. I mean, just recently with that business thing, it happened. Like I wanted to make a business move, and instead of doing what I needed to do to make money, I was afraid of hurting someone else's feelings. It wasn't someone close to me. It was someone I happened to be working with at the time. And actually, you know, now that moment has passed, I'm pretty certain their feelings wouldn't have been hurt. They would have been able to handle it like a professional. Right. But because in that moment, I was afraid of hurting their feelings or afraid of what might happen, I didn't do it. And it resulted in me getting the short end of the stick in a business deal, you know? Right. So that's a pretty serious, you know, consequence of caring too much. And that's the thing, is that it's good to care, dude. Like, it's good to care about things, but you got to find the things you actually care about those. And I believe everything else, you shouldn't really give too much of a fuck about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, giving too much of a fuck, that can be a problem.
Right. I understand that. I think that, I kind of feel you on that. Like, I can see that you have that issue. Do you think that it like stems from something, or do you think that that's just how you are?
I mean, I think it's both.
Was it like a moment in your past to where like you didn't care enough and now you overcorrect for it?
It's not that I had a moment in my past where I didn't care enough. I think I learned early on that shit will catch you off guard in life.
Right.
And so now I've become adept at like having a radar and being like, oh, this might happen and this might happen. But it's not actually an accurate radar. It's not actually a well-developed, experienced sense for danger. It's not like a spidey sense, you know?
Right, that makes sense.
It's those kinds of people are intuitive. Those people who know when they're getting fucked over, or like they can tell that something's not right. That comes from experience. Mine's just like an attempt to avoid something happening to me that I wasn't prepared for. So that's where I would say that aspect is where it comes from. But I think the answer is both. I think some of it also comes from like who I am as a person. I think I'm an overthinker. That's how my brain is, you know? I have ADHD, so it's always thinking about something. And if I don't really focus on being in the present, I definitely will go off in my head and go on thought trails. And so sometimes those things combine, you know? And I'm only now learning to be, when I have that flash of like, oh shit, if I do this, maybe I'll hurt their feelings, or oh shit, if I do this, you know, maybe this will happen and I'm afraid of that. I've just now started to realize I do that a lot and be like, hold on a second, slow down. Like, what needs to happen here? It doesn't matter if, dude, I had to send an email to a, let's just say a company that I worked with, without giving too many details. I had a chance to work with someone who is very high up in the company, and they have the ability to refer me to other companies.
Right.
And they would be happy to. So all it took was for me to send a follow-up email after I completed a job with them and go, hey, person, I loved the work we did. It was awesome. I hope you're enjoying the finished project. You know, I'm trying to get more clients, and I was wondering if you wouldn't mind introducing me to some of these other companies. You know, what could I do? Is there any blah, blah, blah. Just sending that email took so much effort for me. Like, not effort, but like nerves, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it stressed me the fuck out, dude.
Yeah, no, I feel that. It's like that anxiety.
Well, I'm worried that something's going to go wrong because there's another person involved in the project, and what if they see it and think that I'm going behind their back? There's all this shit I'm just afraid of. And so, like, every time I check my email now, until that person responds, I have, like, butterflies in my stomach every time I check my email, every time.
Right.
So it's like, dude, I'm doing business. It's not about making people happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you take advantage of everybody and don't have tact, but it's about making money. And sometimes you got to do shit that's not comfortable.
Right.
So that's an example of like a time that I cared too much about the wrong things when I should have cared about what do I think is right, and I need to succeed in business. That, and, you know, just being okay with being uncomfortable, I think.
Yeah.
That's another big flaw, is that I feel like I need to become more familiar with being uncomfortable. If I can become comfortable with being even 5% uncomfortable, I feel like I'll do better than like 80% of people.
Right.
So, but that's me.
No, that makes sense. And I think it's just something that you have to, it's good that you realized it now, and now you can like work towards understanding what's happening when it's happening to you, and then you can choose to be different, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I tell you what though, you know, when you are that way after a certain age, it becomes so ingrained in you that sometimes it takes another person to tell you that you were doing it. You don't even realize, and then when you think back on it, you're like, oh my fucking god, that's what I did, you know?
Yeah.
It can be hard. So it's definitely going to be a journey for me, but
yeah, that definitely makes sense.
But yeah, man, that's mine. What about you? You're going to say you're too much of a comedy genius? That's your shortcoming?
I do have.
You're just too damn funny, you know?
I have that weakness.
Yeah.
No, but for me, I feel like mine's is kind of similar, but a little different. I feel like I'm the type of guy where, like, I think it comes from the background of me with the military, being a logistician. Like, I feel like I don't pull the trigger on things. Like, I know what to do. I've had it lined up. I have it planned. But it just takes a lot for me to, like, you know, go that extra step to actually start doing it. And normally, once I start doing it, it's fine.
It's not like as bad as you thought or whatever.
Yeah, everything works out, but it's just for me to take that step.
There's like a leap for you.
It takes so much. And
why do you think that is?
Like I said, I really noticed it happening. I don't know how long I've been like this, but I noticed it happening one time. I was talking to my captain in the military, right? And there was something that I had to do. I had to like explain a plan to another unit, right, that we were working with. And in order to explain it, like, you have to go on timelines, right? But I don't know. I can't be the person to say like this is going to take exactly 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're going to do this, which should take 30 minutes. And then after that, your stuff should be there, right?
Right.
I can't say that because it might not be true, because it might take
you can't
20
be certain.
minutes,
you can't
or
be
it
certain.
might take 45 minutes to do something, you know,
Yeah.
depending on the situation. It could always change. I don't want somebody to come back to me and say, well, this took, 25 minutes. You said it'd take 15. So, what the fuck? And, have that backlash. So I would always do this thing to where I would be like, yeah, we think that this might take around 25 to 30 minutes maybe, and then I would be really unconfident. I would sound really unconfident, but it was just because I didn't want to give them a false
sense
reading.
of confidence.
Yeah, a false reading, or give them false hope or something like that.
You didn't want to be responsible for someone having the wrong expectations.
Exactly. So I would always give that little bit of leeway, or I would always say, I believe it should be done in 15 minutes, or I believe it should be done in like 30 minutes. And people would be like, oh, you believe? Do you think it is or isn't? And I'm like, well, I can't tell you because I don't know exactly when. And my captain saw me doing this this one time, and he was like, well, Wheeler, like, you have to, like, I understand, like, because I'm the same way, and like with our jobs, it's hard to know exactly what's going to happen, but sometimes you just gotta you gotta pull the trigger. If it doesn't happen exactly the way you say, you then go and tell them why it happened like that, if that makes any sense.
Right.
And I realized that I would do this after that day. Like, I looked at myself and I realized that I would do this with a lot of things, like with like moving, or with like going to a new job or something like that. Like, I would like, man, like I don't want to make it real. If you say that you're gonna do this thing, it makes it real, and like then you have to like live by it, that's
right.
how, at least that's how I felt
and
about
it has the potential to fail.
Exactly. And so I would just not pull the trigger. I would just not do anything. I would just like deer in the headlights, just kind of like,
when in reality, obviously what you want is to fail as quickly as possible with most things, because when you fail, you attempt and then you find out why it didn't work, and you gain valuable and like that. I would agree that I would agree. I would argue that when people say experience, they're referring to failures.
right.
So the quicker you're able to fail, and if you can, it doesn't mean fail at everything. Like if you can fail small, so that it doesn't, it's hard to do with something like moving, right? Like,
Right.
what do you do if you go move and then your life sucks now?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to just control Z that.
Yeah.
But in other areas, like if you can fail as small as possible and as quickly as possible, then the damage isn't very bad, and you end up learning way more. I think you learn more. I don't know. You might disagree, but I think you learn more from failures than you do from successes. Honestly.
No, that's for sure, 100%. But my thing is that like, well, at least where since I was doing it in the military, there's like millions of dollars on the line, and like there's people's timelines that you have to, like, you can't just like, it's something to where like you can fail, like when you're first starting out, you can fail and it's not that big a deal. But when you were at the level where I was at, like I had the entire unit's logistics going through me at the time. Like I was the only embarker in that unit. So if something went wrong, it went wrong for the entire unit, and like there was like no one else to look at but me. So failing at that level, like it's kind of
failing at that level is still possible.
It's possible.
If you tell them something's going to take 25 minutes and it actually takes 30.
Yeah.
You know, it depending on what it is, that might not affect millions of dollars and people's lives.
No. I understand that, but it's just people are really, and it's really the fact that they were like,
they put that extra pressure on you.
They'll be impatient, and then they'll start getting angry, and then like there are people that are higher up than you that can start fucking with you, even though it's not something that's your fault.
Yeah.
They won't even take the time to understand what's wrong. They just know that they didn't get what they needed.
Yeah.
And so, and
it's
especially
it's not conducive to improving.
Exactly, especially with me, as you know, because I felt that like I was kind of like a low rank. I couldn't tell them like, hey, it wasn't my fault. This, and this happened. And like,
what are they gonna? Yeah, they hear that all the time, right?
Yeah, they're gonna just like enough of the excuses and stuff, you know. So it's just like I'd rather have it like pitch perfect to where I can say this is going to be this, and then you know have it go exactly how you know you plan it out. And like now like I do that all the time. Like I have to plan out everything like in order to be okay with actually doing it, with actually pulling it off. Yeah. So if it's something that I can't like 100% plan out,
that surprises me. I think because I was about to say you would probably enjoy an exercise in acting on impulse, you know, and not planning something out. But then I thought to myself, it's surprising that you say that, because every time I talk to you about this trip we're about to do to Japan, you're like, I don't really want to plan everything out, you know, like I already know kind of what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so maybe that is like a form of, I won't say escape, but that's a form of like having this window of time where you can just enjoy yourself, not really have to plan every little thing out.
Yeah.
And just have fun, you know?
I think it makes me, it's a different kind of planning, if that makes any sense. I know that once, because for the Japan trip, for example, I know that once I'm in Japan, like it doesn't really matter what I do. I'm in Japan, I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah, you could walk down the street and it would be a cool place.
Exactly. It'll like just walking around is just going to be a good experience for me, right? I don't necessarily have to do anything.
Yeah.
But what I worry about is like the planning of the actual trip,
like when other people are involved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. I don't know, you can even tell like I'm like nervous about like, oh, we have to all get the tickets at the same time, because are we flying all together? What airline are we taking? The tickets are going to be expensive the closer we have to wait.
Yeah.
Not everyone's ordering the tickets at the same time. Well, then that might change how many people are actually going on the trip. And if that changes, then we might have to change up the groups that we break off in and stuff like that. Like that kind of stuff bugs me, because that's not how I operate.
Right.
And like I understand that like not everybody operates like that. Not everybody has the background that I do. So like it's just being okay with, you know, people being
different,
flexible, or you know, whatever. And so
man, I know a couple people in my life and in your life that like Micah, for example, that I bet you that creates some interesting situations, because Micah is a person I remember talking to Micah one week. It was like 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he was like, he just had decided that he had turned down too many opportunities. So he said he just said he was going to start saying yes to shit.
Right.
Literally anything. If anybody hit him up and they were like, yo, you want to go to this thing? He'd be like, yep. That's the kind of person he is, you know?
He could just turn it on and off.
Yeah. And so, you know, I'm sure it's the same with this trip. You know what I mean? Like if he was going, he'd be like, I don't know, man, I'll just buy the tickets whenever. Like, you know, I'll just go. I'm just flexible. Like it's whatever. I'll just go on an adventure while I'm there. You know, it's like literally a completely different way of living.
Yeah, I can't. I wish
I'm in the middle of y'all.
Like sometimes I wish I could be like that, just to let it go. And
grass is always greener.
Yeah, just to be able to like not worry about it, you know, like not have that stress of like, okay, I've planned it out, and is it going to work? Like, and then waiting. The worst part for me is like you've planned everything, and now like the plan's happening, and like is the plan going according to plan. All right, step 1 went well. All right, now there's step 2. Now we have to wait to see, if step 3 goes.
It's draining,
okay.
right?
It's just like, Jesus Christ. I just wish that I could just like do it and like have it be over,
But
and
the good news is once we all get there, I'm sure like I said, I feel like I'm between you guys, because I do have that a little bit where I have to plan stuff out and like I have to like make sure it's happening properly. But when it does happen properly, there's this moment where I can just let go,
Yeah.
Finally, when we touch down, we're there, everyone's here.
Yeah.
I'll be like, all right, now my trip has started.
Right.
Now it's begun.
Yeah.
I'm that same way, man. I feel like the best skill you can learn isn't actually planning. It's like planning is an important skill. It's an essential skill for living. But I feel like a more important skill is your ability to create plans that are on the fly and relevant to current events. Your ability to react to something happening and plan based on that. Because, in in a perfect world, you can plan as well as you want.
Right.
But in reality, shit just happens that you can't plan for.
Exactly.
Murphy's Law. And when that happens, you need to be able to be like, break the plan, new plan. Like,
Yep.
boom, 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 boom,
Yep.
boom, boom.
That's exactly what I learned in my job. And that happened literally every time you plan for something in logistics, at least from my perspective. We would spend months and like hours of day planning each and every single second of a deployment or something like that. And then like the day of, something would happen. Somebody didn't come to work that day who
Someone's
we needed
sick.
to come to work. Someone's sick. This other unit decided to have like a last minute meeting, so they can't be out there on time to move stuff. So we need to figure out another way to move it. And like something would go wrong every single time, and you have to be ready to be able to deal with that. And that is where like I felt the most stress came from, but that is where that was where I was most comfortable. That was where I felt like I was doing, this is why I got paid, is because I can handle situations like this. I can figure out how to make things work even when they're going wrong.
Yeah.
And so as long as the mission got accomplished, it didn't matter. You could do whatever by any means to get your stuff done.
Right.
And that was where I had the most fun, is like now I can.
Well, hopefully that gives you some, ease of mind whenever you think about what if this plan goes wrong, because you, in the end, even if it does, you apparently have a good ability to react and adapt on the fly.
But that's the thing. I find that it's fine if I do that in work, but like in life, like I just really don't want to think like that all the time. I can't turn it off like Micah can. I can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna say yes to things. Oh, I'm just gonna allow things to happen. I can't. I just can't do that. Like,
I mean, I think you can. It's just what you're saying is you're not that way right now. It's very difficult for you.
Right.
And also you've lived all these years the way you've lived them. So you've built neural pathways in your brain that make it a lot easier to do those things. The path of least resistance for you is continuing to operate the way you've always operated.
Right.
And I don't know. I think you should try planning, not planning. I think you should try planning a day. It can be something as simple as a day where you don't have anything going on that day, or you plan for that. You plan a day where nothing's going on, and you just make a conscious decision that on this Friday of June, whatever, I'm not going to plan shit.
Right.
Fuck it. I'm not planning shit today.
Right.
And every time you do it that day, you go, nope. I'm not planning it. I'm just going to do whatever I feel like. That might actually be a really cool experience for you.
Yeah, I think so. Or just let somebody else handle it.
Or that too.
And just go along with whatever they come up with.
Yeah, that too, But that could be really cool, man, because I think the more you do that, the more experiences you'll have that will make your brain realize that
it's okay.
It's okay when things aren't planned.
Right.
And then it won't feel so necessary for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know your life. Like I have no place to give advice, but as an outsider,
sounds,
you know what I mean?
It sounds like a good idea.
That would be that seems like it could be cool. for my thing, all I can really do is catch myself. You know, I have to
Yeah.
catch myself when I'm doing it and be like, no, you're making a decision out of fear again. Like, you know, relax, stop that shit, you know?
Right.
But yeah, man.
It's good for you to have, I think for yours, it's good for you to have other people around who are in those situations with you that can tell you like, hey, it's going to be okay. Just do what you know you have to do.
Reassurance is what that is.
Yeah.
I'm definitely someone who I would describe myself as more anxious, and reassurance is like, it's like fuel for me, 100%.
Right.
Like, there are times in my life where I'll be subconsciously talking to friends or, you know, relationship or, you know, family for reassurance. And it's weird for them because they're like, I don't understand what, you know, I'll be like forcing them to say something that reassures me subconsciously, you know?
Right.
And they're like, what? They'll be like, they'll just say it. Some of them will say it. Some of them will be weirded out. You know, people like Brandon will be like, I don't know, man, just like figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't know that like that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. Like, I don't like needing reassurance from other people. I want to be able to just reassure myself. But I think like having that transparency with friends and being like, look, sometimes like, even though I know it's going to be okay, I can't quell that feeling of like, oh shit, you know?
Right.
And hearing it reassurance, even if it's cheap, goes a long way. Like, it really does, you know?
Absolutely.
So I think you're right about that, you know? And I don't know. I'm just trying my best to like, another big thing, dude. I don't know if I've talked about this on the show before, but a big thing that I learned recently, like a skill that I learned recently, is having the ability to see the good in things. Have I talked about this before?
No.
Okay. So this sounds really like, it sounds like a small thing, but, I mean, it is a small thing, but when you do it, like you start
That's
to,
what she said.
Oh my fucking, there's that 1 out of 100%, man. You know what I'm fucking saying, man?
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
God. Well, anyway,
no.
man, how do I rephrase it now? It has sweeping changes across your life when you implement it. And that is seeing the good in things. And it doesn't just mean like, what it means is when you're faced with a situation, especially one that is particularly challenging, or it's stressing you out, or it appears negative, or you're not having a fucking good day, whatever, look for good things that you're receiving from that situation. Really try and look for them. And sometimes it's really fucking difficult because the situation sucks. Like,
right.
Those days happen. But even on those days, you can be like, well, the good here is that I'm going through stress, which like can train me to become more resilient. There's always some good thing you can do. And when you do that, you start training yourself to see challenges and negativity and like struggle in your life as a gift, like an opportunity that you've been given to improve as a person, which really, really, really changes like your emotional state. It changes, you know, how depressed or stressed you are generally in your life. It's a very good thing to do. And what it really is optimism. It's just being optimistic.
Right.
But a lot of people have this notion about optimism that it's like naivety, that being optimistic is being naive and just, you know, going about your day, la, 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 like nothing's going to happen to me. Everything's okay.
Right.
Now, obviously, that's not what optimism is, you know?
Yeah.
Optimism is recognizing the difficulty and choosing instead to see a good from it and moving forward. But the best analogy I heard was that if you've ever seen like a squirrel hanging out on like a fence or like in a tree or something, and you know, let's say it's just chilling there, it's doing its thing, looking around, and then like some wind blows, right? And like it blows a little bit of it, maybe it moves a little bit of grass near the squirrel. The squirrel like freaks out. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's
right.
like, and that in that moment, that squirrel, it's like fight or flight responses are activating.
Right.
Like that squirrel feels like shit. It's like, oh my God, there's something there.
That squirrel's in Full Metal Panic.
Yeah, it is in Full Metal Panic. Honestly, it's like, oh fuck, whatever's in that grass might kill me. But you know, dumbass squirrel, that's just some fucking wind. There's nothing to be scared of. That's you. The squirrel is you. Every time something happens in your life that you stress about or you fucking get worried about, you're that squirrel. You know, you don't realize that it's not really a big deal. Now, that doesn't mean don't take threats seriously, but when you're scared about every little thing, your ability to recognize when you should be worried about things is a little bit muddied.
Yeah.
And not only that, you perform better as a person in your life, in your career, right? when you are not constantly bulked down by the weight of being stressed about every fucking little blade of grass moving. You know,
Right.
when you can relax and be optimistic, you actually perform better. And that's a trait that like is seen in a lot of CEOs or seen in a lot of like high performing entrepreneurs, is that they have the ability to see the good in things, whether that be gratitude or optimism or whatever. But that's a skill that like I recommend everybody just try. Like if you're having a bad day, when
Look
you take
on the bright side.
literally look on the bright, like when you're taking, you know, when you're having a bad day and you're taking a shower in the next morning, just like in that shower, just like think about it. Be like, you know what? What's my situation? Like, what's good about this? You know, what are the good things that can come from this? And man, it works wonders.
Yeah.
It works wonders for real.
I have a question for you
Okay.
that is kind of, it's going to seem out of left field, but I like to do this experiment with some of my friends.
Oh boy.
Because I like to get their mindset on it, right? So say you're in this field, right? You're in a wide open field. Let's say it's like a baseball field or something like that.
Okay.
And every 10 minutes, a wave of school kids comes at you, right?
At me specifically?
Yes. They're trying to attack you.
Okay.
And every 10 minutes a new wave comes, right? Let's say there's five kids, and it starts out in the first wave is like first graders. The second wave,
Does the first wave ever go away?
yeah, once you knock them out,
I have to knock them out.
yeah, you knock them out, and then before or after that 10 minutes hits, right? So like let's say you knock them out before that 10 minutes. I'm gonna assume that you can knock out 5 first graders in 10 minutes.
I've never really thought about my ability to do this,
Yeah,
but
I can.
I guess it's reasonable.
Okay, so like, let's say you knock out the first wave, right, within 5 minutes, right?
Then I have 5 minutes until.
You have 5 minutes until the second graders come.
And if I don't knock them out, there's
They'll
going to
still
be
be around.
fifth graders or first graders and second graders and third graders. And,
Yes.
Okay.
So
That's a very specific analogy.
I'm asking you, how many waves do you think you could get through
Oh.
until you are overtaken? Now, I'll just ask you straight up for the first part. You have nothing but your bare hands.
For the first wave?
For
For the first answer.
For the first answer, you
Okay,
have
well,
nothing but your bare hands
I
all the way through.
have a question.
Okay,
How many kids did you say is in
It's
each
5.
wave? 5 in each wave?
5 in each wave.
And does it just go until like, seniors in high school?
In high school, yeah.
Shoot, man. I would really struggle to hit fucking kids. Like, I would really, really struggle.
They're coming for blood. Like, these are like
I
not
know.
normal kids.
Let's say that I knew in my head. Let's say they're zombies or something. They're like
No,
zombies
they're
that can
not
run
zombies.
and like
they're people. You're not gonna get away from this. They're children.
Fuck, dude. But I know. Is it true that like they are going to kill me?
They're going to try to kill you. Yes.
Fuck, man. I genuinely don't know how I would act in that situation. I really don't, because I've never
Well,
hit.
you're gonna be killed by some first graders in a few minutes here.
Yeah, relax. I've never hit a kid.
Relax. Yeah, relax. I'll knock them out.
I never hit a kid. So like that would definitely be jarring. But it might be one of those things where
do you think you could knock one out in one hit?
Well, I mean, depends on if I get a solid punch, and maybe I've never knocked anybody. I've never knocked anybody out.
You think you're so weak that you could knock out a first grader in one hit?
I've never knocked anyone out. I don't know what that feels like. I don't know what it feels like to knock someone out. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. If all I have to do is hit him in the side of the head square, then sure, I can knock out a bunch of them. But I don't know. What if I hit him and then they're dazed and they're not actually knocked out? You know what I mean?
Choke them out, snap their neck, whatever.
Oh, well, snapping their neck is it's not knocking them out.
Yeah,
That's,
you could even grab one of the first graders and use it as a weapon against the other ones.
Okay, well, you look, if you're saying defeat them,
Yes,
let's just call it
defeat them.
defeating
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I can definitely defeat a wave of first graders. Dude, honestly, man, I gotta think. When do kids start getting like their growth spurts? You know what I'm saying?
I think for different kids, it's different.
Yeah, but like like Micah's brothers are a great example.
Okay, let's say that.
Because
let's say that
I
in
probably
the wave,
won't be one of those motherfuckers in a fight.
In the wave, you have like one that's having a growth spurt each time. So there's 4 normal ones, and then there's one that's like the boss, and he's like a little bit bigger than the rest.
He's the boss kid.
Yeah, he's like the athletic one.
Man, dude. I'd say I don't think I would make it to high school. Honestly.
You wouldn't make it to high school?
No, because there's...
Are you serious?
Yeah, because there's 5 of them. And I would have had to go through 5 of each grade. And I don't think I'd be able to do it because that's... I'm just trying to think. Yeah, that's 9, 10, 11, 12 is high school, so... I'd have to go through 5 times 8 kids. Now, it'd be easier in the beginning, obviously, but I mean, I remember them getting a growth spurt at the end of middle school, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some of those like boss kids or whatever, like they might be my height or just under in middle school.
Right. So what grade do you think?
So I'd
is
be
your
fighting
upper
a
limit?
body that's equivalent to mine.
Yeah.
That's younger than mine and has more energy than mine.
What grade do you think
Multiple
is your upper limit?
times. I might be able to make it to freshman year of high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might be able to make it to 8. I'd say 8. 7 or 8. If I'm lucky.
7 or 8?
Yeah, if I'm lucky. That's a lot of kids, dude.
Yeah, and it's one after another.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you'd just be out of energy. You have to remember you run out.
You would have to finish them off fast.
That's 40 kids, dude.
Yeah, but think about it.
Each increasing.
But it's a timed event. So if you can knock out the elementary schoolers fast enough, you have a lot of rest time.
Yeah, you would want to knock out the... I can't believe I'm fucking saying this. Ideally, you want to knock out or kill the first graders as soon as fucking possible.
Yeah.
Because then you can just rest, retain your energy, and devise a strategy.
I think 1st through 5th grade is like easy.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Easy street. It doesn't really get hard until middle school.
Right. And then middle school, you're going to start fighting. I mean, you're taller, so you might not really fight a lot of people who are your height or body composition.
But 5 middle schoolers, that's
I would say a good portion of those middle schoolers might be like 4 feet tall, maybe even 5. 5'3", 5'4".
These are regular. I'll say this: they're regular kids. They don't know how to fight.
They're not like athletic
they're not like trained ninjas or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. What's your number? What do you think?
I think that. So I'm around the same ballpark. I think that I could definitely get into high school. Where in high school, I don't know, but I'm probably making it to at least 10th grade. I'd say.
Okay, 10th grade.
Yeah, I'd say at least 10th grade. Because like I said,
do you think you'd be able to fight? Let me ask you this, Oscar. Do you think you'd be able to fight 5 freshman high schoolers?
Yeah, because I think that
you got to really think about that because there are freshmen who are your height.
Yeah.
And are in the football team.
That's true, and that's
luck of the draw.
That would be like the one boss kid, I think.
Yeah, but you have to fight. But you have to fight 2 boss kids.
Yeah.
So you're asking yourself, hey, can I fight? Do you know what it takes to fight a person who is your height and weight?
Yeah.
You think you can finish? That fight in 10 minutes?
I personally have the technique advantage over him.
You think you can finish that fight in 10 minutes after you fought?
10 minutes. Yeah.
You fought.
That's the thing.
40 kids.
My thing is you cannot let that timer run out.
As soon as there's new kids coming out while you're fighting, then
you cannot because 10. Okay.
That's my point.
That would be my answer for the first round. The second round, let's say you start over fresh.
Okay.
And you're given a baseball bat. How many do you think you can get through?
Oh man. I can definitely get to high school. Okay. I can definitely get to high school.
All right.
Basketball or baseball bat's pretty unfair. There's a lot of stuff you can do with it. Is it aluminum?
Sure.
Yeah, dude. I'm definitely getting into high school. Freshmen, they'd be big, but I'm fucking swinging a bat. Oh, they could grab it from me. You know?
I think you go after the knees.
You gotta keep your
go after
distance
the
too.
knees, yeah.
You can't let him like get in on you, and you
Yeah.
just gotta be swinging on him.
Yep.
So here's what I'd do. I'd reserve the baseball bat. I wouldn't use it on like elementary. You know what I mean? Unless I had to.
Right.
And then-
Unless one of them has earned it.
Yeah, because it helps me. Because when you're swinging a lot, that's like a lot of energy. You know?
Yeah.
So unless one of them
You don't
steps
need
to
to
me,
waste energy on like a 5-year-old,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
You can,
Unless
you
one
can,
of them
like,
steps to me and
chokeslam that
he's
motherfucker.
like, "Oh, you're approaching me," and I pull out the bat. I'm like, "All right,
Yeah.
you've earned this." But then when I get into like halfway
the
through middle
sound,
school,
dude.
once I get to halfway through middle school, I feel like I'd probably need to start
using the
bat. And then honestly, dude, when you get to like because you got to remember when you get to like sophomore year of high school and junior, you're basically fighting people your height.
Yeah.
I mean, not you. You're taller than average, but
right.
I'm average height, and the newer generations have been proven to getting taller. So you're basically fighting someone that's like your height, maybe even your weight, or bigger. You could just get a big kid,
Right.
Like a stocky kid,
Right.
and dude, that's fighting 5 people. That's a 1v5 of 5 people who are around your body composition. That's fucking hard.
Yeah, you just have to be precise with those baseball bat strikes.
Yeah, you got to really land them hits.
You have to strategically. That's why I say the knees. If you can stop them from moving, it'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, you got to go for the knees.
If you get a kneecap on like the big kid first,
Take him down, get his head while he's on the ground. Boom,
exactly.
he's out.
That'll make it a lot easier.
Yeah. Where did you? All right, I got to follow up. You have a sword. Excalibur. How many kids you cleaving through?
Oof.
How many grades?
I think with the sword, I make it through all of them.
You make it through all?
I think I make it.
You know
through
how to
all
use
of
a
them.
sword?
With a sword? Yeah. I don't. What are you talking about? They have nothing. They have nothing.
Yeah, but
They have. What are you talking about? What are they gonna do?
all it takes, you're thinking about it wrong. All it takes is one kid that your sword gets stuck in. Then the rest of them
It's
swarm you.
Excalibur. It's probably like
Okay, I
super
didn't say
sharp.
it's got magical properties, motherfucker. I was just saying a sword. I was just
Okay.
saying a sword.
If I get like a sword and it's like a new sword and it's freshly sharp, I think I could fucking ace these kids. I think I could ace. Yeah, all of them.
Wow.
Because think about the psychological damage that you're doing to them. You stab one kid and then like
Dude.
they have to run out onto a field of bloody children.
what I'm saying.
And like
Imagine-
psychologically they're not gonna want to fuck with you.
Imagine it being a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
And going on a field trip, and you enter the stadium, and all you see is Oscar holding a fucking longsword, standing over 40 dead children with blood, and he's looking at you, and he knows you were gonna show up, and he's like ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be a little scared.
Yeah.
I'd be a little scared.
Yeah, and like
I would
and
with the
like,
bat too, though.
I'm covered in blood. I'm angry.
Is it
at
weird that I'm like more flinchy and like afraid of getting hit by an aluminum bat than I am a sword?
No, I'd be way scared of the sword.
You should be.
'Cause the bat-
you should
the
be
bat
more
you
scared
could
of the sword.
catch.
You should be more scared. But the bat, dude, the way
bat
that
you could
shit,
catch, that's
it's
true.
just painful. Like the sword can make a clean cut and kill you. It's more lethal.
Yeah.
But the bat is just a blunt fucking object, dude. It's just metal on your shins and shit.
Yeah,
I don't know,
fucking
man.
hurt.
I don't know. Well, we now know how many children we would kill in a hypothetical with two different
Actually,
weapons.
I have like an extension to this one.
Oh, boy.
We had this argument at work. We're not an argument. We had this hypothetical come up at work. How much of the you as a man, right? What percentage of the world's men do you think that you could beat in the fight? Now this means everyone. This means every
male of any age.
every blind man, every deaf man.
Is there an age cutoff?
Yeah, no, everyone.
So as soon as they're 1 year old.
as soon as they're born.
Okay, well I know.
So
it's
you
about-
could kill every.
Yeah.
You have to beat in a fight.
It's like it's like 3.5 to 4 billion people.
So yeah. What percentage do you think? What top like? what do you
Yeah,
think?
I mean, I think, dude, honestly, man, I think like 40%.
40%?
Yeah.
We had
Maybe less.
I think
I'm not very strong. I mean, I'm getting there, but like I don't know how to fight. I'm skinny. I'm average height. I don't have anything that would put me above average.
right, but that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are below average.
No, that's not how averages work. Average is 50% of people.
Yes.
That's how averages work.
Yes.
So I would say that 50% of people are average or below. And I am slightly below average when it comes to strength and fighting ability. So that is why I think...
So you don't think you're above average?
No. What? Let me ask you this, Oscar. What would make me... You know about me. What about me would be above average in physical ability or fighting ability?
You're right.
Like what? I can be honest. Like I don't know how to fight. I'm skinnier.
That's fair. But what I'm saying is like there's a lot of people with disabilities. There's people with mental disabilities who just can't function. There's people who are like I said, blind.
That would
deaf.
only be that would only be a factor that would change my
deaf
answer.
People, I don't think that'd be too big a deal.
That would only be a factor that would change my answer if it wasn't already accounted for when we talk about average.
Okay.
When someone says that they are average fighting ability, they're including the entire spectrum. You know, that's like saying 100 IQ isn't average because there are people that are mentally disabled or lower than 40. It's like, no, it is because they're still part of it. You know what I mean? Just like mathematically.
Yeah.
I think 40%. And that's me being generous. I think if you were to grab 10 people, you know, and of any age, completely random. You know what I mean? If like an alien...
Do you think you could beat up most old people?
The shit we talk about on this fucking show,
age,
dude.
No. What age do you think, like, after that age, like, I think anybody over, like, 70, I got them. Like, if you're 70, I got you.
60.
Dog. Like,
I think 60.
60? Yeah.
Maybe like
60s? I don't know.
I know
60s?
some people who are in their late 50s who are still pretty... They got some fight in them.
Yeah.
And they know... The dangerous thing about people in the late 50s
they have that old man strength.
They have strength, but they also might have experience. At that point in their lives, they could be ex-military, and they could have, you know, they have so much time to experience fighting. They could have been done wrestling. They could have, you know what I mean?
But at that age, all that time has built up on their body.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying
they might have had surgeries and stuff like that.
That's the good part, you know, but I wouldn't say 50s, I'd say 60s, you know. I think 50s, you could still...
50s, you can still move.
You can still hold your own.
I think late 60s. I think if you make it, like, anyone past their late 60s...
65, that's the cutoff.
I have, like, a shot. I think I have a shot at, like, late 60s. Anywhere past 70, I got you. I
think I got you 65 plus.
You think that there's not a...
No, hold on. What I'm saying is, I think I got you 65 plus. That means I'm willing to say a majority of people who are 65 and up, I will win in a fight. A majority.
No, I'm asking 100%.
No, I mean none.
Do you think there's
100% is 100%. That means there's not even a 0.00001. Yeah. So no.
I know that. I mean, maybe I know that 100%. Dude. I can 100% for sure say that I can beat anyone over 100.
Yeah. Well,
I got you, Grandpa.
But then why'd you say late 60s?
So that's what I'm saying.
That wasn't 100%.
No. I think late 60s. I think late 60s is where I would start to be like, okay, I can get them. Once you hit 70, I think I 100% got you.
Oh, 100%. I thought you said 100% was 100.
No. I said that's what I'm saying. I was trying to explain it to you. I think that you
think there's not a single 70-year-old in the world that can beat you in a fight. I think you're sorely mistaken.
I don't think so.
I think you're sorely mistaken.
I do not think so.
There's a big difference.
70,
listen, Oscar. There's a big difference between saying hardly anyone could beat me in their 70s and no one can beat me in their 70s. You don't know. There could be a special forces X. Whatever you want to call it, Mr. McGillicuddy, who is in his 70s, and he doesn't necessarily need strength because he knows all the vital parts in your body and how to make you submit. You know what I mean? You don't know, bro. Never say never.
Yo, Father Time is undefeated. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, well, hey, what can you do?
I think for sure 70s.
Nah, man.
But you said 60s.
No, I didn't say 60.
Okay.
I
What do you
never,
think 100
I never
So
made
let me
any
do it.
claim about 100%.
Okay,
because I'm not a person that will do 100%.
Let's do this backwards then. Do you think you could 100% anybody over 100?
Yeah.
Okay. 90. 90.
Shoot, man.
100%.
I'd say
You think that there's some 90-year-old out there that could take you?
nah.
I just
you're right.
I just,
No,
I
you're
just
right.
need-
You're
I
right.
just
You're
need it-
right.
I
You're
just
right.
need
You're
it- I
right.
just need it on the record.
You're right. No.
All
you're
right. 80. An 80-year-old man out there somewhere in the world that could take you, Nathan, in a fight. That can somehow bring you down to the ground.
I'd say there's probably
and start gumming on your ear.
yeah. I'd say maybe one human being.
One 80-year-old.
One.
Who?
I don't know.
Who is this?
You don't know these people. That's why you are making a probability statement.
I don't think so. I don't think there's an 80-year-old out there that could beat you.
I think there's one.
I don't.
I think there's one. I like to think there's one. It's headcanon. There's one 80-year-old out there who, you know what I mean? He wrestles bears and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, there are people who get into their 80s that have like exceptional strength and health for their age.
I think you're selling yourself short there, Nathan.
Well, did you know that?
Yeah, I believe that. I believe it. But I'm saying there's no way. There's no way.
I think one.
You're competent enough to beat an 80-year-old man
Look,
in
man,
submission.
we're talking about a difference of 100% and 99.9998.
So you're 100% sure nobody over 90 is beating you.
Yeah. 100% sure. 80, 99.999998. One guy. It's not a big deal. One out of 3.5 billion? Come on.
How many 70-year-olds do you think are walking around out there that are just waiting to kick your ass?
Well, considering I said 80, 1 in 3.5 billion, probably not a lot. I'd say 70s.
These motherfuckers are walking around with pacemakers.
Not all of
and
them,
shit,
dude. I'd say not all of them. There are fucking people.
you
Listen,
just gotta
Oscar.
hit 'em one time in the chest.
There are people who live to 80 without any equipment, without any walkers,
Yes.
without anything like that.
Sure.
And they're actually exceptionally healthy for their age.
For their age.
Yes.
For their age.
For their age. And I'm saying
that
there's
I could
probably-
put those motherfuckers in the dirt.
and you could, but there might be one. There could still be one. At 80, there could still be one. 70s, I'd say
You heard it here first, folks. If you have a grandpa that doesn't like what he's hearing, tell him to call me.
tell that to Gart, man. I'd say like 70s
Just
and
kidding.
yeah. I'd say like 70s and 80s are probably similar. You know what I mean? Maybe there's like a handful 70s, so you're still looking at like 99.99998, and then once you get to early 70s, that changes. You know what I mean? Like 70 fresh is a lot different than late 70s. You know, I'd say early 70s. I'd say 99% of 70-year-olds, 99% flat. I'd say 65, 90%.
65, because 65, there's some strong.
That's right.
60-year-olds
That's right.
out
There are.
That's what I'm saying.
So I'd say like 80, 90%. You know what I mean? That's my phone. Sorry. I'd say 80 or 90% of 65-year-olds. I don't know. What do you think about 65?
65-year-olds, I think that's a trap. That's a trap year. That's a trap year because you can say like, oh, I feel like I have an advantage over them. But that's where the old man strength comes in. Like, you're not...
Like you said, there's some 65-year-olds that are like... They just were big dudes. Like, they just were strong dudes, and they're just 65 strong dudes.
They have that, like... They're just looking for that one last go before they take it to the old folks home.
That's a good point. Like, they've probably thought about, like...
they just want
being
that,
back in their old days.
Yes.
And this is their chance to let out their energy.
They just want that one last go to fight in front of Marie-Anne.
That could be dangerous.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's trap. They're gonna look feeble and old, but they're gonna whoop you.
And they're actually really wise. You know,
Yes.
they've handled
Yes.
kids like you.
It's still enough time
It's
to where their
doable.
mind's still there.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
And so it's so like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to get caught up with a 65-year-old. I don't believe like I would say most 65-year-olds I could probably take, but there's a contingent that would definitely.
It's a good
dog walk
gamble.
me.
It's a good gamble. Like
it's a gamble.
You have to remember the average 65-year-old. We're
Right.
sitting here talking about the GARPs, but not every 65-year-old is like that. Like
Right.
the average 65-year-old, you could probably take. You know what I'm
fair.
saying? They
That's
probably
fair.
got joint problems, dude,
Yeah,
and their back's fucked up.
I would say to be generous, I'd give it 50%.
I'm sorry, what?
To be generous, I could beat 50%.
What's 70 for you?
I would say 100%.
What do you think happens between the year 65 and 70? Do you think people just deteriorate into crabs?
I think I could take any 7-year-old.
But as soon as the 65, it drops by half? You seriously think if I were to go out and grab 20 65-year-olds, you could only beat 10 of them? That blows my mind. What are you talking about?
Now that you say it like that, that's kind of true. I'd say I could probably beat like.
Look,
With 70,
I said 70 or 80%.
70, 80%. That sounds about right.
I mean,
that
I feel like
about right.
you're still leaving that like, 2 or 3 people who,
Yeah.
for whatever reason,
Yeah.
are strong as fuck for no reason.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I feel you. Anytime after retirement age, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty good that I could pretty much take.
But that goes up wildly if I learn fighting. If I
yeah.
because I'm planning on doing jiu-jitsu this year.
Yeah.
When we get back from the trip,
yeah.
if I can afford it. And if I can do that and become proficient in it, that totally changes my answers, because now the question is, what percentage of people in their 65 plus are still physically strong and also know how to fight? And
Okay.
that's a much smaller number.
Let me do it in the reverse right before we get out of here. All right.
Don't take that sentence out of context, man. Do not take that
Pause.
sentence out of context.
Pause.
Let me just do it in the reverse before we get out of here.
All right. Let's start from the beginning. All right. 1
Welcome
to 10
to
year olds.
Two Dudes in a Room. This is the best show on earth. I'm Nathan. I'm joined here by
Oscar.
and today we're going to be doing episode 12. I'm glad we started from the beginning. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. All right. Now that we're
Now that we're done with that bit.
Jesus Christ. So from 1 to 10 year olds, how many do you think you're
Oh my
taking?
God,
What
dude.
percentage do you think you're taking?
What are we going
I
to title
say-
this fucking
I say
episode,
100%.
dude?
That's my problem. I say 100%. 100%. 1 through 10, 100%. I got them.
Let me rephrase that question for you. I want you to take 5,000 10-year-olds, and I want you to put them in a room. There's not a single one.
Absolutely not. I'm knocking the shit out of all of them.
Oh my God.
1v1? If it's a 1v1 with me
Yeah,
versus
yeah, no, I'm
any
with you.
10-year-old,
Yeah.
what are you
No,
talking
you're right,
about?
you're right. I'm stomping
What-
them out.
On God, I would stomp the shit. What are you talking about?
No, you're right.
On God, in a 1v1, I got it. All right, next question. 10 to 20.
That
How
you
many-
need
what
to
percent?
subdivide that. Let's subdivide that. Let's do
Okay.
10 to 15, 15
10 to
20.
15.
90.
100%.
I'd say 95%.
100%, dude. What do you mean?
They're freak 15-year-olds. That's what I mean. There's freak accident 15-year-olds. Like, they're literally freaks. Their body is like a complete rarity. That happens.
I'll say 90%.
I'd say 95.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with 90 because there are like corn-fed motherfuckers.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
You got to, if you're trying to be as thorough as possible.
They're like the fucking Derrick Henrys of the world.
We're talking about, the 15-year-olds who have fucking facial hair and shit.
Yeah,
Like, they just
yeah.
are men instantly.
Yeah.
That happens, you
Yeah.
know? 15 to 20, that's a little bit more of a... Now, the problem with 15 and 20 is that is like... I would argue, if you were to look at males in all age brackets, 15 to 20 is one of the biggest varieties you're going to get.
Oh, yeah.
15 to 20 is like a fucking box of mixed donuts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, shit, dude. 60%? 70%.
You think you're taking 60%?
Yeah, because half of that is still below 18.
Okay. I would say of all, because you still have to deal with like the amputees and the blind ones. I could take a lot of those.
If they're 20, I mean, most of their growing is done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'd say 60 is fair. 60% is fair.
And then lastly, 20 to 25. That's more around my number, which was 40% for me. I'd say, my number was all males. 20 to 25, dude. I think like 30%, maybe 35. Because that's when you're young,
You're kind of in your prime.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're not in your prime,
30,
but
20 to 30. Well, 20 to 40.
30, yeah.
I would say is your prime.
No, but my point is like 20 to 25, like they're done growing, and if they are strong, they're gonna be strong as fuck. So it's a mixed bag, dude. They ain't kids anymore though.
Yeah, I'd say I could probably take 50 to 60%.
Oh wow, do you think you could beat a majority?
50 or 60%.
Wow.
And that's gonna be my answer. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as much as it's been fun talking with you guys about destroying children,
murder.
We're gonna have to get out of here. But please leave your answer below. How many children do you think that you can beat at a time?
Just
we're very curious.
I have a request for this. If you comment, first off, please comment below the answer. How many kids? Well, we got to specify what age. 15?
How many 10-year-olds do you think you could beat in a row?
Yeah, in a row. How many 10-year-olds do you think you can beat in a row? Well, I want you to answer when you write your answer in the comments, I just want you to do a number. Don't provide any context. Don't say 7 kids. Just say 7. I want people to go on this fucking video and look down in the comments and there's just numbers.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Absolutely.
Please.
And while you're down there, go into the description and leave more questions for us. Also, we're going to start having more content coming out soon. So keep a lookout for that, and be sure to like the videos and stuff like that, so we can get our message spread throughout the universe in infinitum.
Yeah, if you guys like that kind of stuff, let us know. You know, we'll be able to see in the analytics, but we're kind of dipping our toes into it and trying it out.
Yeah. So just keep it locked right here. How about you do the outro this week?
But I don't know the thing you always
just do
say.
It.
Okay, well, thank you guys for joining us. I hope y'all enjoyed it wherever you are, if you're in your car or on your computer or listening just at home. We love doing this. We love making these. We're going to try some new content, like he said. And I hope y'all enjoy. Have a great day or evening, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.
Mid. All right.
Wow.
Catch you guys later.
Wow.